You're listening to the Betoota Advocate's weekly news wrap on Desert Rock FM 96.5.
Hello and welcome to another weekly Betoota news wrap. My name is Errol Parker, and joining me this week, same as last week, Effie, Bateman, Clancy overall. How are you two?
Yeah, pretty good. How are you?
Look, I'm always good at the end of the week.
Effie got ghosted by a guy that sent her a message saying, "Come hang."
I did. It was at 10:30 on a Tuesday night, and I said, you know what, maybe not, but if you want to go on a date, we can go on a date, and then I got ghosted.
Yeah, maybe he was really pissed when he did that, and that kind of, he woke up in the morning and was like, just have to cut my losses here.
Or maybe he doesn't have any money. That's probably the truth here.
That is like, probably the truth.
Come hang.
Come over and hang at my house.
Which is free, and we can watch SBS on demand.
You can eat my housemate's cold spag bowl in the fridge. Can't use the microwave because he's upstairs and he'll smell it. Come down.
Make sure it's cold. Yeah, not much for me either, mate. Just, obviously, we're all plugging the gaps here while Wendell enjoys his decadent tour of the Northern Hemisphere.
Any updates?
Well, he's just been to the British Virgin Islands, where the head office for the Advocate is, for those listening at home. And as it turns out, we do actually have to pay more tax than Qantas this year again, which is a bit of an injustice, but considering that the Advocate does own a 1982 Cessna 206 with the upgraded all-glass Garmin cockpit, it does make sense considering we have more modern aircraft than Qantas. So I guess we should be paying tax.
I guess we should be. As they refer to them on the front page of the Australian today, the lying kangaroo. You see, this is what happens when you stop spending big on advertising campaigns with the major mastheads as they turn on you. Same thing happened with Dan Andrews. And the Victorian government, they stopped doing their campaign material in the News Corp newspapers, and they have never, ever heard the end of it.
That's why you never hear bad press about Jerry Harvey.
because he
pays
fucking $40 million a year.
He keeps the Australian newspaper industry afloat.
With those...
with
he's
those
basically
leaflets.
got inserts.
Come and buy a Dell Inspiron from 2 years ago for $4,500. Or, if you don't have any money, flexi rent it.
Yeah.
And you pay $20 a week for 35 years until you have this laptop. But don't worry, the first 5 years are interest-free.
Interest-free. Anyway, we are paying tax again, and Wendell probably fucked that one, I reckon. He's in Turkey now getting some top surgery, but it's not the traditional type of top surgery that.
Oh, you're talking about the Turkish top surgery.
Well, it's not the
hair.
It's not the LGBTI.
No, he's getting he's getting a hair transplant.
No, that's lid surgery.
You can't say top surgery because you can get in trouble for saying
he's getting, because he's got those 50-cent coin nips, so he's getting them rearranged to make them smaller.
He is getting an areola reduction.
Areola reduction.
I suppose.
And I guess you're right. It's not, the hair transplants aren't top surgery, it's lid surgery.
I didn't know he was that vain.
Well, they turn into moobs. So it's one thing to have the, as you said, the Subway cookie nipples, Effie, but when the Subway cookie nipples are attached to pine cone moobs.
Oh, conies.
Yeah, he's got the cone moobs.
Right.
Which, cone moobs are fine, and cookie nipples are fine, but when they combine, it ends up looking like you've got a couple white pointers there. So.
Yeah.
So he's having that.
They're not fine on a man, though.
No, the pine cones. Anyway, this is the toxic, media landscape that men must live in now, where we're constantly compared to others, and unrealistic standards of beauty for men. It's actually been a real big issue over the last 20, 30 years.
Well,
if it makes him happy, again, who am I to plastic surgery shame him?
Well, look, I think I'm going to have to kick us along here until we get another envelope under the door about what you've said on air from the
Human Rights
ACCC or whatever the fucking advertising guild's called, whatever that toothless tiger.
Yeah.
What's making news this week, Clancy?
Well, the first is quite a mouthful. It's an article related to the Indigenous voice, and it's a quote from a staunch no campaigner from Betoota Grove. The headline reads, "Why should the Indigenous get special treatment?" asks baby boomer who went to university for free and lives off the sweat and tears of 20 underpaid and overworked millennial rental tenants that pay off his negatively geared property portfolio that was accrued after a lifetime of being gifted public money through a comically unfair franking credit system that had absolutely fucked our economy even before the entire nation was ordered to stay home for 3 years to protect his precious lungs.
It sounds like we stayed home to protect your lungs too, Clancy. Tell you what. But as the Indigenous Voice referendum campaign heats up, it has become a surprise to no one that some of the loudest opponents of constitutionally recognising the existence and self-determination of Indigenous people are the same cohort of grey-haired voters that have had the easiest lives out of any other generation of Australians.
Including 67-year-old Graham Fox, who asks, "Why should the Indigenous get special treatment?" This is, of course, despite having his university fees paid for completely by Prime Minister Gough Whitlam, a man he cheered out of office before successive Liberal governments squirreled millions and millions of public dollars into his pockets through franking credits and negative gearing tax perks that have foolproofed his decadent property portfolio that even an idiot could have amassed.
Yes, he claims that he's never gotten any special treatment, and that's despite being a man who sat at home and watched the entire world stop work and socialising for 3 years to protect him from a virus that he was the first to get immunised from. Bit rich, isn't it?
Bit rich. What else we got, Effie?
Up next, in a couple who'd happily elope guilted into spending an entire house deposit to appease both sides of the family.
Yes, a couple that understands that money just doesn't grow on trees this week has been guilted into spending $45,000 on what essentially is a one-day party by, both sides of their family have put them up to it.
Though the couple had tried to compromise by stating they would have a small wedding, their loved ones felt the need to insist that every fucking person within a 400-kilometre radius attend this wedding, including nieces, nephews, cousins, neighbours, old teachers, friends of the family, friends of the family's friends, and colleagues. Dad's new stepwife and all of her kids, Mum's new step-husband and his kids, and Nan's friends from the church.
Mother of the bride said, "At the end of the day, it's not about you two, it's about getting the family together, because apparently she can't organise a family lunch or something."
"It'd make everyone so happy," said the mother of the bride.
Yes, and from one spoilt generation to another, Gen Z attempting to emulate the 1990s, still not doing it properly until they commit to the Africa.
As the cyclical wheel of fashion trends clock back to the late 90s boy band era, the generation known as Gen Z are trying their best to wow us with their revolutionary choices in clothing. Namely, baggy denim jeans and skater t-shirts. However, there are some youth actually rumoured to be wearing cargo pants again.
However, the elder millennials and Gen Xers that actually pioneered these styles know that deep down the youth aren't doing it properly. One outspoken millennial elder, Macaulay Carter, said, "You want to look like a skater? You better smell like a skater." They think they can pull off the fluoro spray jacket without rocking the Africa? Absolutely delusional.
There are some people out there that might think that was an ad.
It's not.
It's not. I think that Lynx Africa tastes and smells like you're sucking the fart out of a dead hippie.
It's like you're sniffing up close one of those fat Etnish skate shoes.
The smell that you smell when you smell Lynx Africa is what Todd Carney was smelling when he pissed in his own face all those years ago. The human bubbler.
Yeah, just a fucking...
That's what it smells like. It smells like Canadian Club and Dry that's been put through someone's body.
And a very dehydrated person's body.
Yes.
That's exactly what it smells like. And lastly, a woman who is aware why an older couple at a bar want to buy her a drink is also conscious of the cost of living crisis right now.
Yes, a local woman has this week found herself resorting to the same tactics she used as an overconfident 20-something singleton in her bar hopping era. Only this time, she has substantially raised the stakes.
Instead of angling for a baby-faced financial worker who was more than willing to buy her a vodka lime soda for the chance of a late-night Ronnie Coote, Audrey Lee, 32, reports that she's refined her tastes and instead targets wealthy older couples keen on spicing up their relationships by bringing a third into the mix, and perhaps, maybe, the man watches. I don't know. With French Quarter's unofficial swinger hotspot, the Firefly Jazz Lounge, being her optimum mark.
Yeah, this sounds a lot like your third marriage, Clancy, back in the 90s. That was
Well,
certainly something. I think
there was a power imbalance in
No,
that
you-
relationship.
you were
I
definitely-
did watch, but I it was. I had
You
to
were-
watch
you were
another
ahead of
younger
your time.
man.
That's how you learn.
I had to learn from a younger man that my wife picked, and I had to watch on a chair in the corner of the room. It was very demoralising. But yes, it does remind me a little bit of that. This one sounds a little bit more innocent and perhaps not as toxic as the swinger relationship I found myself in. Thruple, forced upon me. Audrey reckons it's the only way she can afford a whiskey sour now, and that if they ask for her number, she'll just give them her ex-boyfriends.
Classic.
Yeah, gosh, imagine being a fly on the wall in his room.
We also had a very good Facebook comment from a top fan, Mick Vickers, who said, "Oh, you can't afford to build a house. Come back to ours and watch me negatively gear Bob's latest erection."
That's basically it. Really, you can. The cost of living crisis can be, there's loopholes in it. Is basically what we're learning from Audrey Lee. Effie, any of your friends get asked to join thruples?
Yeah, no, I've been asked once when I went to a bar and I was approached by an older couple, but I didn't realize until later because they asked for my number and I thought they were just being very friendly.
You're new to town.
They were just talking to me.
They can smell the gum leaves on you.
Yeah.
It wasn't until a few days later they'd warmed me up and they were just talking and then they planted the bomb.
You were texting them.
What?
Yeah, no, I
What?
thought
Then
they
you
were just,
ghosted them.
and then I just stopped talking.
Yeah, it sounds like Audrey needs to do what the kids are doing these days and just buying credit card off the dark web and just using it until it runs out.
And someone else's name from some other country.
That, mate, it's a victimless crime.
It is.
Like whose money are you actually spending? It's not the person you've stolen the card from.
It's not the bank, it's not the insurers.
You're spending MasterCard's money.
But they tend to be insured against this anyway.
I know, so it's a win-win.
Yeah, the system works.
Yep, if you're doing it tough, you can always turn to credit card fraud. Until next week, my name's Errol Parker.
I'm Clancy Overall.
I'm Effie Bateman.
Ciao.